Talk. Today we are talking to Mackenzie Cates-Allen, the president of Winston-Salem Ambassadors. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. Yay.
So I think the big thing on all of our minds as it's coming up is the next parade you guys are hosting. Tell us a little about what to expect.
Absolutely. So it is 72 days away. We have a countdown, and I check it every day just because why not?
In case you forget.
Exactly. So we're really, really excited. 2024 Winston-Salem Holiday Parade is coming up. We have our Grand Marshal is Nia Franklin, Miss 2018, I think.
Nobody
Miss America.
asked me for approval at all on that.
So Burgess Jenkins was our 2023 Grand Marshal. Now, we do have a parade committee, and you are welcome to join it at any time.
Thanks.
This is really when we kick off, so we'll put you to work. And then we also have former Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools Uncle Brent Campbell, who is our deputy marshal, joining us. So we have Grand Marshal, and then we have Deputy Marshal, so that's actually new this year.
This is Brent Campbell of the Winston-Salem Forsyth County. I know he's not there anymore, but I told him one day I saw him at an event, and I said, dude, I love you to death, but I was so tired of hearing you. I'm so glad that my kid's out of school.
Yeah.
There were memes about him for a while there.
I mean, people loved him and do love him.
Yeah.
Ironically, my kids actually aren't in Winston-Salem Forsyth County public schools, so I never got to hear him, but I knew him from all the things that I know. Like I know a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was just a natural fit there. And this year, for the first time ever, and I think it's the first time, I still have to research this, but the first time ever in any major parade in any of the major cities, we are going to have the first Black Santa Claus in our parade.
Really?
Yes. His name is Santa Titus. He's so cute and like authentic and adorable. And last year we had a Santa switcheroo issue, so we had to like find a Santa, so we were like looking around and like checking all our options and everything.
You didn't call me.
Well, you were on the list. We had to get the list.
Because at that time, I still had the full Santa beard,
I know, and the voice.
Yeah.
The voice.
Ho, ho, ho.
But somebody suggested Santa Titus for us, and at that time, he wasn't in our budget, but this year we planned for it. And super, super excited about that. Like, representation really matters, and we want to make it as inclusive as possible. So it is not a Christmas parade. Christmas is welcome to be celebrated at the parade. But as you can see from our shirt, it's Hanukkah and solstice, Kwanzaa, Yule, all the winter holidays, basically.
Yule is my favorite.
Yes. I've never actually participated fully in it, but like it seems very cool. Like we celebrate Christmas.
Oh,
but
yeah.
we want it to be as inclusive as possible. So we have floats, and we have puppies and dogs and cats and horses and children and marching bands and all the good things that you want to see at the holiday parade. I don't think we have balloons, but one day we will get there.
And what's the date, time, and
December
details?
7th. It's always the first Saturday in December, so it's December 7th, 5 p.m.
And it is a great time.
It
Even
is
last
fun,
year,
right?
oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Even last year with the weather being very potentially a problem.
Yeah.
It was packed. It was absolutely packed out. Everybody showed up, and they were so excited that the rain held out.
We were too.
I mean, obviously all of us were, right? But it was such a testament to how well it's done that with impending rain, that so many people showed up anyway and were excited about it. It was wonderful.
So attendance was way down last year, and we still had like 2,000 people.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And we were lucky enough to have been basically handpicked by the Winston-Salem JCs, who ran it for 32 years, I think. So last year was 33, this year's 34, and they knew their chapter was going to close because they didn't have enough membership and dollars and all the things that you need. And I had volunteered in years past, and they're like, hey, this is a thing that's probably going to happen. Do you want to take it over? And I was like, yes, I want to take it over. I want somebody who's going to love it and take care of it and make it as inclusive as possible.
And call it George.
And call it. I
Nice
love that.
Yeah,
Well done.
Yes. And
Love it and
hold it.
squeeze it.
And
Call it George.
And now the parade is going to be called George. So that works.
Right
great.
on.
So,
You coming to George? Yes.
It's going to be great, though. We're really excited. And paperwork is into the city, so now we have to just check all the boxes.
So besides the parade, tell us a little more about, what Winston-Salem Ambassadors does for the city.
So the Winston-Salem Ambassadors is 8 years old now, I think, which is crazy. So Tim Beeman was one of our inaugural board members, one of the first ever.
Yeah.
And so we are another name for us that I like to call us, I don't know if anybody else calls it, but I do. I call us the great connectors. So what we do is get folks what they need from Winston-Salem, whether that's a business idea or a connection or friends. A lot of people come here. It's a great city, right? So over 250,000 people now, and they don't quite, because there's so much now going on, that they don't quite know where to start. So we help connect them to what they need from Winston-Salem. We're a nonprofit, 501c3, tax deductible. We have the ambassadorship program. So anybody can come and be an ambassador because you know what you do, right? You know where you live and where you eat and where you hang out and the events that you go to. And I may not know those. So it's really important that all those, as many as possible, all those voices are represented. We're basically just cheerleaders for the city, and it's like the best. It's like the best job ever. And it just means a lot to be able to connect to people. So that's what we do.
Please tell me that on all of your social media accounts you have, in quotes, the great connectors below it, because you should.
You're right.
You absolutely should.
We usually use better together, but the great connectors, I'm totally going to do that.
You should do that.
Honestly, I'm
because
going
you
to.
said that, and I thought that's really cool. And then when you started describing it, having a small blurb on there saying this is what we do, and in case you're unaware,
sold, man. Great idea.
Sold on your idea.
Yes, we're the great connectors.
Well, now there's a whole theme song and everything.
Do that again when I'm not talking. Okay. I'll be quiet and I'll use that.
I can do it for you anytime.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I actually really love that. That's really helpful because we're involved in so many things because that's literally what we do.
Yeah.
I was thinking on the way over here, I was like, man, I wondered actually how you do that. And then I'm just like, I'm pretty sure I introduced Jordan Goose to Chrissy Spencer. I know I introduced Nikita Wallace, who is the founder of Winston-Salem Fashion Week, which is happening right now. Everyone go. That'll be too late for that one. That's fine. You guys go.
Next year,
I introduced Nikita Wallace to Chrissy Spencer, who I don't know what we're allowed to call it now. Who used to be the Wynn Cup Museum, and it looks like it's now Brown Coltrane Motor Co. over off MLK and JKS Incorporated. And so Nikita, who has done Fashion Week, is now doing stuff at Robert Hall, and so that's just one of the connections that we make. And this year she needed a contact at the Winston-Salem Dash. And so I was able to introduce them. And now that's actually tonight's show is the Winston-Salem Fashion Week at the Dash, which is really cool.
Yeah.
The great connectors. That's
Love
what we
that.
do. I know.
That's
And we
great.
need as many people to do it because, I know a lot of people and I can do a lot of connecting, but there's no way one person can do
Well,
that.
very few people in this town, or any town really, know how to take next steps, whatever next steps may be.
Correct.
They're excited to make one, they have an idea, but most people need either an incubator or somebody to say, well, okay, what is it you're looking for? I can at least introduce you to somebody who may know somebody, and maybe I can take you directly to the source. Opening up one door, sometimes it's 10 more that are after that, and sometimes that is the door. But not knowing how to get to that first place.
You're really hitting the nail on the head. You're like, yeah, you get it.
I do. In a lot of ways, I do. I think.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing that in my own small way. It's very fun for me. I like taking things that are like old buildings, like where the Remedy is, and rehabbing it. I love doing that. I love seeing what something can be. And so for a lot of people and friends and folks I've come across, whenever they're looking to do something and they're thinking about it and they're going, I want to do this, but I don't really know. I'm like, well, let's have a coffee and see what that could look like. But this, that's like a whole platform designed to do exactly that.
And we do coffee all the time. This is literally what I spend the majority of my time doing, is having coffee, having lunch. There's a lady who came to me a couple years ago and said, I want to do something. She was a former hairdresser, and she's like, I want to teach people how to do this, but the schools to do it are so expensive. This is just so random. This is just a random story. But she's like, but I want to do it. I don't know. Should it be a nonprofit? Should it be a for-profit? And I was like, Well, and I gave her, because my degree is in nonprofit management, so I kind of gave her the pros and cons of that. And then I said, hey, why don't you go talk to Alan Younger, who was at the time the Small Business Center at Forsyth Tech person.
Yeah.
And so she went down there and ended up creating a whole company. And now they took over a historical building in Kernersville, and they're full all the time. They've put out hundreds of hairdressers and cosmeticians. And those are careers for people. Like, people spend their life doing that. And I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. But I went. She reached out to me, and I was like, "Hey, good to see you. I didn't want to get my hair done." She's like, "You come to Kernersville, and you will have free services for life. You started this." I was like, "You started it. I just helped get you to where you needed to go." But I've been kind of trying to collect those stories to like keep myself like inspired and everything. And the more you put that out there, like, the more that will continue. People can participate in that.
Dreams die without other people helping you connect them. I mean, how many people get to that point and they go, oh well. And they just kind of move on.
Yeah.
They had that next link. That's huge. I love that. God, it's great. We need to talk. We need to talk.
I mean,
I'm
you know
super
how to
inspired.
find me. We're not separated. But yeah, and I really, really, it's so like cliched, but like I really do think we are better together.
Yes.
And we can help each other do so many things that I would have never even considered that. And like, I don't have the skills or the know how to do that, but she did, and we helped her get her there. And so she's a major part of Winston-Salem and Kernersville and the Triad. I mean, that in turn has a big impact of like rippling effects, which is really cool.
This is super cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
So you talk to a lot of people that are new to Winston, right?
We do.
So
I do.
when they come in, what are some things you tell them that you love about Winston? And
So I like to listen first, because not everybody's going to want the same things, right? So like, I have all the things that I love, but like, what do you love? Are you looking for a church? Are you looking for a place to volunteer? We have a lot of folks who are coming here who are retired. So obviously, it's a great place to retire. And there are so many nonprofits that need help. We had a lady a couple years ago come. Her husband was like an executive for the medical center, and she was an artist. Older, retired, didn't have to work or anything. And so I ended up getting her plugged into kind of the arts district and the arts scene. And she had a physical space for a while right there down on Trade Street. But we kind of know we've been successful if like new people come and then we meet with them and then we direct them and then we don't hear from them again. That's actually a good thing, especially when I find out that they're still here and they're still involved. But the things that I like are, we are a world-class, people just forget, especially if you have been here for a while, we are a world-class city with amazing museums. We literally have an educational institution for every single thing you could want. We have the oldest women's college in the country, Salem College, shout out. I'm an alum, obviously. But we have a historically black college. We have the first arts conservatory in the whole country. We have Wake Forest University. We have Forsyth Tech. It's like, we literally have something for everyone. And
School of the Arts.
The Fighting Pickles. Gotta love them. Gotta love the Fighting Pickles. Unfortunately, colleges are usually getting out of like school by the time the parade happens, but I really want the Fighting Pickles in our parade. But coffee shops, I mean, when we first started the Ambassadors, I could literally fit all of the coffee shops pretty much onto one slide. We do Welcome to Winston-Salem orientation. I definitely cannot do that anymore. The breweries, the coffee shops, it's just a matter of finding what you like here. And so I like to listen and hear what people like first, like what they need. Like, some people are new families, they need childcare, which is hard to come by. I know. It's like, I know.
Maybe you should have a
connect me. No.
I'm very easy to find, guys. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, wsambassadors.org, all the social medias. But yeah, so I like to listen first, see what they like. And we always have events. I saw something, I can't believe I'm still hearing this in 2024, but I saw something on Threads, and I think it was clickbait. But she said, I hate it here in North Carolina. There's nothing to do. I was like, no, I can't. That's why we started this, was like, help you find what you need.
And I also say, there's no good restaurants in Winston. I'm like,
What?
have you lost your mind?
Have you not left your house?
Somebody asked me the other day, like, where to go for a specific type of date. And I was like, oh my God, there's so many choices. Because like, each one has their own vibe. And this one has a type of food. And this one has seasonal menus. Like, Footnotes has a seasonal coffee flight
Oh,
of
those
like
are so
pumpkin
good.
stuff. I haven't
Yeah.
had it yet, but I
I
want
haven't
to.
had I had the spring one. It was good.
There's so many things. There's so many things to find, and I think if you know, first of all, if you never leave your house, you're never going to find anything. And second of all, it is kind of sometimes hard to know where to go, where to start. So that's what we kind of help with. And I lost track of your question. What was the original question? I just love Winston-Salem, and so
There
I
you
like
go.
talk
Me
about
too.
it in every way.
I think that was the original question. So there you go.
Yeah.
So, is there anything you'd like to see happen different for Winston, or added, or something we maybe don't have yet that you think we really
I was
need?
about to say, what's missing?
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is I just asked someone this question the other day, and I was like, she should have an answer. And
And here we are.
I know. It's just karma. It's just karma. I think we can always do better, right? So like I'm very big proponent of like always improving, always growing. I think we can do better in terms of like facilitating our medium to large businesses and connecting them. I think we have really good startup resources. And then we do, of course, have some incubators like Winston Starts, that kind of thing over in Flow Tower. That's not the official name, but like 500 West, whatever.
Yeah. And launch tower here in this building.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. There is, I think people don't realize we literally have millions of visitors every single year in Forsyth County, literally in the millions. Something that I would like to see is an observation deck, an observation tower. So if the folks at now True Light, used to be Winston Tower, if they want to work with me on that observation deck, that'd be great. Just because it's really, really cool. And most people don't get a chance to go up 30 floors and be able to look out. Like I'm lucky enough to be able to have done that. And you can see Pilot Mountain so clearly. You can see the Sartown Mountains so clearly. And you can see all of the downtown vistas really, really clearly. So I would say probably some medium business resources and then some like literally tall tourism. I think that would be really cool.
20 years ago, my wife and I got married here, right? And we had tons of people coming in from out of town. And I thought, well, there's going to be a lot of downtime for them. I'm going to put together a list, like a guide. This is what you can do, because I love this city so much. And I started off the top, and I just kind of went through all the fun things that can be done. And it was, a hike through an older village, and a stop off to get a meal, or go get a cookie from Winkler Bakery, and make a lap around Old Salem, and then down to whether it was the trail over at Salem Lake, or then maybe it was down 4th Street. And so I had a whole long list of things. And one of the guests was from Winston, and they looked at the list and said, this should be like on the visit Winston-Salem site, because there's so much stuff to do. And when you hear so many people go, well, I'm not sure I would know what to tell you to do. And I'm going, I can fill you 3 days with stuff to do. And you just have a ball doing it. I mean, whether that's your evening pub crawl or brewery or whatever, or your tour of the coffee shops and bars. Whatever you're after, there's just so much of it. And so when I hear people say what we're talking about, well, I mean, is there much to do? There's so much to do. So anyway, to that point with tourism, not to mention, I could go on and wax poetic about this all day, but just the fact that you can be in the mountains in an hour, you can be at the beach in 3. You want to catch a football game in Charlotte, that's an hour. Whatever. Weight games. There's just so much going on. So
yeah.
It's a great city.
Interesting. I don't think 20 years ago there would have been as much to do as there is now.
Exactly.
Because I came here in 2004 for college, graduated in 2008. So it's been like 20 years now, which is weird.
Well, that list would be 5 times longer now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Visit Winston-Salem plays a really interesting role in bringing people to Winston-Salem. So they operate in a very specific way. So tourism, conventions, and meetings is like their really, really big things. And they used to advertise in only very specific magazines to bring people here. So there was usually an older demographic coming. And I also drive for Lyft because I just do all the things. My other company is She of Many Hats because I do like literally everything. But I had a Lyft ride from Wake to Greensboro, and she had just graduated. She was here for homecoming. And I was like, so how was it being back? And she's like, it's really cool. Like, I live in Florida, and I didn't realize when I was here, how amazing the whole city is.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm actually telling people about it, and they're like, really? Winston-Salem? She's like, yeah, it's really cool. It's really surprisingly cool. So I know from the older demographic we have that, and now I'm excited to hear that, like, among the slightly younger demographic, Gen Z, like Gen Alpha, that's starting to happen too, which is really
And
exciting.
the returners, the people who are coming back.
Yeah.
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 Who swore, I'm getting out of this 1.5 horse town and I'm never coming back. And now, I'm back in town. Can we have a beer? Yes. And I know several places to do that.
Yeah. That's probably another potential I would add to the list is keeping a lot of the people we have. We have thousands, like tens of thousands of college students here, and they're graduating. And I think it would be awesome if we could keep a lot more of them than we're currently keeping, because it is such an amazing place. And I think we need their mind and their energy and their innovation. There's definitely a Venn diagram of like the people who have been here and the people who need to be here. There should be in the middle. I think we can definitely improve that. But it's such a great place. And I think people forget, especially because you're working, you're living, you have to pay your bills, you have to go to work, you have to do all this. But I think people forget how amazing a place it is. And that's just something that we love to celebrate.
Yeah.
Yay, Winston-Salem.
So how can people find out more about the ambassadors?
As I said before, wsambassadors.org. And we're on Facebook and Instagram quite a bit. There's too many social medias. I can't be on all of them. But we're also at 420 North Cherry Street. So right in the heart of downtown. Very exciting. That was always a dream and a goal. So that's very exciting that we have that. I mean, we're in a very random location. So we're actually under the parking deck, right beside the bike patrol. So there's like 2 little retail spaces there.
Is that where the Sister Cities was?
Yes, we share an office with Sister Cities.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not really there much ever. I don't know if they still exist, but we're there.
Why,
We're still
why
there.
would they really? I mean,
Yeah.
Once you've done your job, you just move on.
Yeah. So
And that's a great space for
Downtown.
people to just come and
stop by. Yeah. So we're literally half a block away from the convention center. The hotel's across from us. So we get a lot of foot traffic. And we also let people use that space. It's a smaller space, but if you have a group of like 7 to 10, it's a really good meeting space. So come find us in person or online.
awesome.
And come see us at the parade on December 7th.
Yay.
Thank you for
5 p.m.
being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It was good to see you too. I love all 3 of you. I was like, yay. A lot of hardship to come to just do a podcast with these
The
amazing
things
people.
I have to do to go see those guys.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having
Well,
me.
thanks for joining us, and thank you guys for listening to Twin City Talk. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Twin City Talk, or our website, twincitytalk.com. Thank you. The views and opinions portrayed by guests on this podcast are not necessarily those of the distributors and hosting companies. And if you love this podcast, that's great, but don't think about stealing it. Reach out to us and talk about the content, because it is copyrighted.